Welcome to the Muse. Welcome to the Muse. Muse TV. Probably what I'm gonna start calling this channel. Let me swing this around. We gonna get it lit. This is for those who get it and those who don't. Because we want you to get it, because the more the merrier. But if you don't, that's quite all right. Because for a few to make it, everybody makes it. It's weird like that. But it's like chess. If you've ever played chess, you know what the strategy is. You got to think all these moves ahead. You got to watch what your opponent's doing. All this. There's always a strategy to it. It's not as simple as jumping a checker and going across the board and saying "King me." Uh, shit. What could I compare that to? Going to get a PhD or some shit, right? Not to take nothing away from nobody. People come to you all the time. My muse people say, I got a degree in this. Or even some of the muse themselves have this. And it's something that's helped you along your path. That's why I can't knock it. But they give you a degree. Think about it is you were born with 360 degrees. Spiritual, mental, physical, all that good shit, right? So you was above the game when you got here. This current game, this playing field, this game called life. Now, why is the muse so important? The muse, you get music, amusement, uh, uh, museums, all these places that deal with art and sensuality and excitement and fun. And right now, everybody's be given that choice. If you've had dreams like I've had dreams, you know that there's a part that fades away and then there's a fragment that remains that has a party. I've been to many parties on the other side, and they are lit and they are extravagant and they honor those who came to do the work. The work is how do you bring out what's within and let that be exactly what it is. And I say that to say it'll be something that you would probably turn a nose up to because of the conditioning, because of the good versus evil scenarios. You'll fall asleep at the wheel, so to speak, and think that you're merely a human being when before you came here, what were you? When you leave here, what are you going to be? You're not going to be human. So what is it? Now, a lot of the ancient texts, you can go back to Bible, you go back to Phil, you go back to anybody, all the masters, but especially the ones of late, and they will tell you about the monstrous soul. I did a video prior where I talked about the masks and how I met Soot in a dream. He had a mask on, and that is a way to protect your fragile humanity and your mind from crumbling if you saw what the other side really looks like, what you really look like when the mask falls off. You'll see it in the movies all the time. Some creature, it'll be black, it'll have insects related to it, it'll have all kinds of stuff that you will turn an eye out and maybe a blind eye to in the fact that they're talking about you. The muse is beautiful. It is associated with what they call quantum physics. It's associated with what we call the fairy realm. And I always wondered all this time why I was led that way. I was led to it by a good friend who passed on and came to me in a dream. And as I started to filter the human fairy concept, it took me deeper into the darker fairy concept. A lot of you have seen that on the big poster boards that I have. Creature like sensual beings, especially the females, because we're in a feminine universe. All that dark up there, that's the yin realm. Your subconscious mind, that is the yin realm. That's all feminine, that's all intuitive. Needless to say, there's too much thinking going on. What do I do about this? What do I do about that? When your natural instincts and intuition deal with the now. And the only way that comes online is when you are in acceptance of yourself and your light and darker side. The light comes from the darkness, so you have to embrace your shadow. Your shadow. What is your shadow? Shadow is the thing that if you ever been in a situation where you're one of those people, you're not about that confrontation. You rather just be peaceful. You don't want nobody fuck with me. I don't fuck with you. But there's those times when somebody steps out of line and you gotta speak your mind. You gotta use your voice or whatever, and you gotta get loud with motherfuckers. When your heart starts beating, when you start feeling that energy, and if you can remember that, you've never felt more alive in those moments, and something starts to come out. Now, there is a control factor here because when it comes out in a uncontrolled way, this is where you get your crimes of passion from, murders, your rapes, your anything you can think of that's just out of line and diabolical. It's like unnecessary. Uh, you look at your serial killers, and you look at the um, anything grotesque, anything that just turns your stomach, and you start there. That is your shadow side. That is the side of you that is uh, it's not touched on in your religions. It's called the scapegoat or the Baphomet, or i.e. the devil. The devil and your God or Jesus are one and the same. Two ends of the pole, and in the middle is the balance, and that's what you're here to find, is that balance between the light and the dark. So that you've proven yourself worthy, not by anybody else's standards, but by doing the work, and you will come out the way you should. That the way you were naturally supposed to come out. This is a cocoon, and people are too attached to the cocoon and not focused on the butterfly. Two totally different forms. And when you think about it, it's the caterpillar that's all fuzzy and not so pretty looking, even though it might have colors, but it's just, a little creepy crawly thing. And people glorify the butterfly. But you really can't hate on either side. And it's the same thing with this Jesus and this devil thing. Devil is when you came down here to experience this shit, and you've been in the pits, and then you finally start to climb your way right back up the ladder, so to speak. Jacob's ladder. That's where you get Jacob's ladder. Two snakes, or the caduceus on the medical symbol, or the staff of Tahuti. When all that starts to line up, things around you change. I've been seeing shit everywhere. It's stuff you really can't talk to nobody about. It'll be shit like out the corner of your eye. It'll be the natural world responding to you. Today I saw a deer, and this may be the same deer that was here last year that tried to creep up behind me because it was curious. And I've sat with deer back in the backyard, especially after I had just beaten Lyme disease. Matter of fact, I have a friend who just beat multiple sclerosis. And it's funny that these things are not highlighted in the society. And you got to ask yourself why. It's because it's fear. We're playing chess with people on a lower level who know who you are, but you don't know who you are. So they manipulate you through any form of the muse. It's like they use your own shit against you. What's the muse? There's your music. In the 70s, when that shit was pure, that R&B, that music, that funk, that jazz, that soul, when people got down to that music, it would heal you. That would be your healing, even with the alcohol and the marijuana and anything that took you to another level. It took you out of this realm of being human. And when I say human, I don't mean it as flesh and blood. I mean it as a humanity, as a demented psychology. And you're seeing it on full display as the world quote unquote is crumbling, why anybody in their right mind would put toilet paper on the list of wiping your ass in the last days and times to be one of the most important fucking things in the world. I can't get down with it. I can't get down with the fear of anything, because the greatest thing to face is yourself. And when you've done that, there is nothing else you can fear, because you have been running from your own power your whole life. Generations before have gone through this. They have not touched on it. They were too afraid. They were made afraid to speak, to act. Let's just fucking march and hold up signs. That's too peaceful. I mean, they must have laughed their asses off at us. Not to say that these people weren't in there coming from a good place, like a place of wanting to promote change without the violence. You know what I'm saying? But whew, it's a lot. I've been channeling the last couple of days, and when it comes through, it comes through. So I'm about to go back under a little bit and bring some more out, and get some of these pictures and images that I've been shown, to get that to come out, because what you do in that realm of joy, and when I mean joy, I mean things that truly inspire your passion and ignite your soul, and that take you out of the mundane, that make you forget. And you'll know when you're there, especially when you're having conversations with people you really fucks with, there seems to be no sense of time. Where did the time go? What time is it? Oh my God, it's been 2 hours. We've been talking for 10 hours. I talk on the phone. I have conference calls with